What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Rasslin. This is my review for MLW Fusion. Yes, the May 19th episode of MLW Fusion. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, it is a blast and it is fun to watch MLW. Like I've been saying, along with Impact Wrestling, MLW Fusion is a great alternative, complementary alternative to WB and AEW. Man, this was a blast. It was I don't want to, well, it was short but to the point. It did not try to do all these extracurricular activities or shots and stories or anything like that. Shout out to Court Bauer. Like, it was to the point, and just they just add this one wrinkle to a storyline, and it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting, and they keep it simple. They don't overcomplicate professional wrestling, which I enjoy. But man, this episode of MLW Fusion, it recapped the rivalry between the Von Erichs and 5150, Danny Limelight, Hernandez, Slice Boogie, of course, 5150, Danny Limelight threw the legendary world-class championship belt into the river, which, of course, is a Von Erich treasured item. He threw it in the river, so they were going over that. I liked it. This episode of MLW Fusion was a bunkhouse brawl between the Von Erichs and Danny Limelight and Hernandez. I like this opening package because it set the tone for what we should be looking forward to in the main event. The first match was Enzo versus Buddy Heavy, and shout out to Enzo. Yes, Enzo from WWE. You can't teach this. He looks good. He looks in shape. Man, he has done a 180 with his matches. Like, he looks great. His matches are great. You could tell that his style is like more brawler, but then there's elements where he's technical, and it's so good, man, it's so good. So he wound up beating the hell out of Buddy Heavy. He's like, you know what, I want a challenger, and ACH accepts this challenge. Man, this was a really fun match. I will say this, and I know I'm starting off with the first match. The first match, the tag team match, and the main event. This whole episode, I recommend you go see. I'm just gonna cut straight to the point. Like, you have to see this whole episode. Everything was solid with this whole card and this whole show of MLW. ACH, he wound up doing a suicide dive through the ropes on Enzo. He wound up also doing a slingshot body cross on Enzo on the floor outside. Enzo did a Fit Finley move, and if you remember Fit Finley when he used to wrestle, when a person used to dive, he used to take the apron garment and open it and put him in there and start beating them. Smart move, Enzo. Forgot about that. So yeah, Enzo did that to ACH. Enzo wound up doing a razor's edge to the ring post on ACH. That was crazy. Like, he got him like solid, had him up, and boom, hit him there. It was like, whoa. And the way the commentary team sold it, it was like, oh crap, Enzo's gonna win this by count out. Like, ACH ain't getting up. And normally with MLW, when they have instances like that, usually it's like, hey, this guy can't compete. That's it. Which adds more to, like, holy crap, this person is like really dominant. But it wasn't the case. ACH wound up getting back in the ring. He wound up doing a very great gut wrench suplex from the top rope. He wound up doing a drop kick while Enzo was doing a crossbody. Yes, as Enzo was coming off doing a crossbody, ACH, man, he timed it perfectly and hit him right in midair. That was a beautiful. But eventually, ACH couldn't do it. He went up back on the rope. Enzo knocked him off, and Enzo did a move where he had his foot on ACH's face, and he like dropped it down, which caused ACH to, fall off the apron and onto the mat. Enzo pinned him 1, 2, 3. Enzo wins. He walks off. He gives this little promo saying, "I'm the best of all time." As he's saying that, Casey Navarro, who suffered from the razor's edge to the ring post, comes out and he's held back and everything. So eventually we're going to get a rubber match between Enzo and Casey Navarro. I'm looking forward to that. This first match was dope. Then we get a video package of 5150. Danny Limelight's basically saying, hey, we chose a side, and tonight is going down. You Von Erichs, that's it. We called you out. You couldn't make it. You had this, you had that. Nah, we're gonna beat you up. Which 5150's been beating the hell out of Von Erichs, and that's why the Von Erichs are like, no, we're gonna get ours back. Then we go to a tag team match. You have Bomaye Fight Club, which is Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas versus Hustle and Power. I like that tag team name. With Calvin Tankman and EJ Nduke. Man, this was... If you like tag team wrestling and you like the power yet technical side of tag team wrestling, this was a match I recommend you see. Keep an eye on Calvin Tankman, EJ Nduke, Alex Kane. Those guys are going to be major players in professional wrestling in the next 5 years. Mark my words, they are going to be major players in professional wrestling. Just watch this match. There was some really cool stuff in this match. Mr. Thomas, EJ Nduke had Alex Kane in a almost like I believe a bear hug or a suplex, and Mr. Thomas came and sprayed something in his eyes, and he was blinded by it for most of the early part of the match. Then after that happened, Mr. Thomas performed like a swinging enziguri kick to Calvin Tankman, and as he did this move, you could see EJ Nduke get some water to clean his eyes. He's on the apron, and he's trying to, he can't see, so he's trying to clean out his eyes so he can see. And the commentary team adds on like, hey, last week Alex Kane was like, hey, are you guys together? Where did you get that gold Rolex? And Duke, are you guys on the same page? Man, again, it's so simple and effective, and you're just like, man, are they going to turn? It's so like, God, I wish other promotions would keep shit so simple like this, where you don't give away too much. You just give enough where you're just like, man, I got to tune in next week. I love this. Eventually, EJ Nduke, as he was, he cleaned his eyes out and everything. Mr. Thomas did a freaking badass running boot to Calvin Tankman. Eventually, Tankman fought back. He did a clothesline on Alex Kane. And Duque, man, I love this finishing move. And Duque did he has the guy in the power slam position, and I believe it was Alex Kane. So he had him in there, and he's running the turnbuckle. He's like, boom, boom. He hits him, and then he performs a power slam, and then Calvin Tankman does the splash. 1, 2, 3. Hustle and Power win. Yes, EJ Nduke and Calvin Tankman win. This was a fun tag team match. I recommend you guys watch this match. It was so many elements of simple pro wrestling psychology that was in this match that was just like, man, I wish they would do more of that. Like, dude, this is so freaking simple, but yet so engaging. And that's why I like, watching MLW. Then we get the backstage interview with the Von Erichs. They're like, get ready. And Marshall Von Erich, he pulls out a cowbell. It's like, oh man, they're gonna, all right. Again, this is a Bunkhouse Brawl. So we get that. Then we get the recap of the fate of Alex Hammerstone. And if you guys don't know what happened last week, there was a press conference with Cesar Duran and Richard Holiday and Alicia Toot. Alex Hammerstone interfered. He wound up going after Richard Holiday and accidentally clotheslined Caesar Duran. So Caesar Duran, he's given this what he's going to do with Alex Hammerstone. While he's doing that, he has this big bag of ice over his left side eye. And next week, we're going to get Alex Hammerstone versus Caesar Duran. There has to be some type of, like, somebody going to do something. I think Caesar Duran is going to set this up where Richard Holiday gets his attacks Alex Hammerstone. So now Richard Holiday is aligned with Caesar Duran. I believe that's what's going to happen here in this situation. It should be funny and interesting. So yes, you're going to get Caesar Duran versus Alex Hammerstone next week. That should be funny and entertaining. Then we go to the tag team match, the main event, the Bunkhouse Brawl, 51-50, Danny Limelight and Hernandez versus Marshall and Ross Von Erich, the Von Erichs. This was cool. One gripe I had about this match, and it was when, I believe it was Ross Von Erich. He goes underneath the ring and he pulls out this frame. And anybody who's seen it, it's a door frame. They just did not have the, the door number. It was a freaking door frame. That's what it was. And they're like, yeah, he's bringing out the ring frame. It's like, that's a door frame. I don't care if you've been to Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards. That's a freaking door frame. Like, it's not a ring frame. It's a door frame. And they crashed through a lot of those. Which makes sense because it's really so, it's hollow in the middle, so it's easy to break, which, hey, if you're going to use it for wrestling, makes sense. It's easier on the body, to some extent. But yeah, this match, man, this was so good. Danny Limelight, he basically called the crowd, which they were in Texas. He's like, Dallas ass. The other issue with this was when the Von Erichs came out and they started fighting, like, their music was playing for like maybe 30 seconds to a minute after they started fighting with 51-50. Like, they're in the ring and they're performing moves and it's still like playing. It's like, shouldn't their music be off by now? Like, and I mean, they're performing moves and then eventually it dies down. But man, there was a nice power bomb by Hernandez on Ross. There was a spot where Marshall Von Erich, he put the ring frame on the guardrail. He's fighting with Danny Limelight. He beat him, he's hitting him and he places him on top of the ring frame on the guardrail. So he's laying on it like this, and he goes to dive and he misses and he crashes through the ring frame. That was pretty cool, but it's like every time commentary is like, yeah, it's a ring frame. It's like, oh, it's a door frame. So we get that. Hernandez. This was the cool spot of this match. They brought in a rake. Yes, a rake that you use to rake leaves. Normally, when you do a back rake, you use a nail, the hands and everything. No, Hernandez used an actual rake to rake Ross Von Erich's back. I'm like, yo, I haven't seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe it's been done on the independents, but I have never seen someone use a rake that you use to rake leaves to rake someone's back. I was like, yo, that's innovative. I like that. Okay, this match is okay. This is cool. That's very creative, and it worked. It really, the way he was using it was like, ooh man, that's gotta hurt. From there, Ross, he missed a dive onto a table in the corner. Again, he hit that table hard. But then after this, you had Hernandez set up a portion of the ring frame in the corner. He had two tables set up, and He tried to put Ross Von Erich through it. He fought back, knocked him out the ring. Ross Von Erich picked up Danny Limelight. He put him through the table. Then he tried to go for him, didn't. Hernandez got in the ring. They wind up beating up Hernandez. Marshall Von Erich puts the claw on Ross Von Erich. They do a claw / power bomb. Ross Von Erich. Actually, no. Was it Ross Von Erich? Yes. No, it was Marshall Von Erich. Marshall Von Erich pins Hernandez 1, 2, 3. They win. That is the end of MLW. I like that main event, man. It was pretty cool. Even though some of the objects they were using was like, okay. And of course, with the incident with the music playing longer than it should, man, this was a fun match. I don't think this is a conclusion to the 5150 Von Erich rivalry. Honestly, I've been saying this for a while. I've been telling a few of my friends, like, hey, this Von Erich 5150 feud is probably one of the most underrated feuds in all of professional wrestling. Like, there's a lot of good feuds that are happening in pro wrestling that people are just maybe not know about, or just so ingrained with WWE and AEW. Like, hey, there's this pretty cool feud with these tag teams over here that's very interesting, and it's simple, and it's engaging, and it's fun, and it's easy to digest. But man, this was a fun match. Man, the Enzo ACH match was good. The Alex Kane, Mr. Thomas versus Calvin Tankman and EJ Nduke match was good. The Von Erichs versus 5150 was good. Overall, man, this was a solid MLW Fusion show. I recommend you guys watch it. I'm trying to think of which one would I recommend. Like, man, everything was good about this show. I enjoyed it. The Cesar Duran being the authority figure just adds so much to MLW. But man, the 5150 match, like, it's crazy because the way, looking at my notes, like, normally on WWE or AEW and even Impact, you might notice, oh my God, another, like, a tag match after a tag match. The way MLW paced this show and the way they structured it, like, I didn't realize I was watching back-to-back tag team matches till now. And I'm like, man, this is like, wait a minute, that was 2 tag team matches back-to-back. But the way they did it and the way the matches were set up and built with the promos and the recaps leading up to it, it did not come across like, oh, it's too much tag team. It was so simple, man. But man, check these matches out. Man, 5150, the Von Erichs, great match. But like I said, the Alex Kane, Mr. Thomas versus Calvin Tankman, EJ Nduke, watch that match. If you are a fan of big guys moving around, power guys, this was a fun match. This was a fun match. Alex Kane, please do not sleep on this dude. Like, this guy, like I said, Calvin Tankman, Alex Kane, and EJ Nduke. These guys are going to be major players in professional wrestling in the next 5 years, if not sooner. This match was fun. Again, the whole thing where Mr. Thomas sprayed EJ Nduke's eyes, and EJ Nduke is trying to get the whatever he sprayed in his eyes out. You see him get the water, clean his eyes. You see him walk around, go on the ramp, clean his eyes. It's little things like that you normally do not see in wrestling nowadays. It's the little attention to details that you don't see, where commentary isn't like overkilling the moment. Like, oh my God, he's got something in his eye. Oh my God, he's got something in his eye. And it's like, okay, he's got something in his eyes. The commentary team really sold it where, he's like, hey, he's cleaning out his eyes, and they go back to the action, and it's like, oh wow, he's still cleaning out his eyes. And they go back to the action. Like, I just love that pacing and transition that MLW did there. But man, this was a really good show. I recommend you guys watch it. Like I've been saying, not only Impact Wrestling, but MLW is a complimentary alternative to WB and AEW. This was a fun show. It's about 48 minutes, almost 50 minutes. So it's not that long. It's not 3 hours, this marathon, and oh my God, I gotta 48 minutes, man. Just watch it. Boom. Like, oh man, this fun. It's easy. I wish more professional wrestling shows were like an hour instead of 2-3 hours, every day. It's like, oh God, this is a lot. But yeah, that is my review for MLW Fusion. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Like I always say, stop fighting over wrestling because there's so much wrestling right now. There's going to be so many wrestling shows with the summer around the corner and so many shows that you're going to be able to see. Man, just enjoy it, man. Especially with everything going on in the world. Like, just enjoy it and just escape for an hour, 2 hours, and just enjoy what these wrestlers are doing, man, because it's fun. It's fun, it's entertaining, and stop fighting over wrestling, man. Come on. Please, just stop already. All right? With that, I'm out.